frustrated. It's probably maybe a load of bullshit, but I am frustrated. And I feel, as a person of a lover of movies and kind of history and things like that, and of certain traditions, I feel that uh, there are people that shit on my parade, kind of shit on my parade, and now when it comes my turn to spread my butt cheeks and let the motherfucker flow, I get stopped. And it's kind of like I feel to a degree like there's a little pipsqueak who thinks he's tough, who bullies everyone around, and I'm just like, like verbally, I'm just ready to just tear in, tear into, tear into these people, but I can't get at them, and it's a frustration because I feel logically, like logically, they're not sound. Their arguments are not sound, and they're very selfish, and we're seeing a lot of like. I'm not here to diagnose, but I'm seeing a lot of egocentric, cluster B, and narcissistic type of behavior, performative, fake behavior that is there to take advantage. And I want to call them out on it. But I also know that they have establishment behind them and they can't hurt you. But part of it, I give a shit. I'm like, do what you got to do. I want to give you a hard time. I don't know if you have a take on that.
I'm a little confused. Are you talking about people in your online world or in your work life, in your social life?
I'm talking about, more the people in my online world, but I'm also talking about, yeah, I mean, just I'm talking about what, and maybe I'm making too much of it, and I should probably worry about myself. But I look at the establishment and the people who are spokesmen in this establishment, and and those who are, I guess, would maybe brainwashed by it for whatever reason, and I'm infuriated by them. I see, some of these newscasters and stuff, and maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe it's illogical. They're strangers. They don't even know me. But there is a part of me that, like, the things that I have enjoyed over the years, movies that I've enjoyed, the traditions that I've enjoyed over time have been stomped on. And there's a part of me that says, well, okay, you want to do that. I'm going to, and you want brutal honesty. Let me give you a taste. Because some of your heroes are no, nobody, no historical people are heroes. I mean, most historical people have blemishes, and they've talked about Jefferson, they've talked about this. And I remember I was in a chat room, a Discord chat room, and I mentioned Eldridge Cleaver and the things that he did. And it's like, oh, and the guy was like, he was a young kid, and he was like, oh, stop talking about that. And I'm like, you would have no problem if we were talking about George Washington or anyone else. But if I bring up Eldridge Cleaver in one of the passages of his book, Soul on Ice, and what he admitted to doing as far as sexual assault goes, they don't want to hear it. And it's like, you guys shit, you guys shit on my parade. You say all this, negative stuff, bring up all the negative things. And now when it comes my turn, you don't want to hear it.
I think the biggest problem here is very fundamental. And when I say his story is not my story, I mean I want nothing to do with that history. It has nothing to do with me whatsoever. And that has been a very freeing, liberating sort of um, epiphany I had. And it freed me up because then I now I'm free to look into what truly interests me and to become a master at what I truly want to master without the impacts of false narratives, funky timelines, and shifty sort of excuses for evidence. I don't care. Um, his story has nothing to do with my story. And I mean it when I say it. And um, and I don't know if that has any. It's not very may not be the most helpful thing for you, but how much? I guess the question is how much stock are you putting into Eldridge Cleaver? Um, After so many massive characters in the mainstream narrative, in the mainstream zeitgeist, so many of them have been proven to be either uh, made up, like complete fictions, or um, you know, I guess it's like you have to make a decision. Do you want to believe what's in the Eldridge Cleaver story, or do you want to, focus on your story? I guess.
Well,
You know.
here's my thing. I brought up Eldridge Cleaver because people bring up George Washington,
Mhm.
and
So you want to defend your points.
I want to defend my points. And I'm saying, and actually, he wrote it. In, I mean, it was written in his book. And the truth is, he was never really taken. The left never took him to task. He was, he was, in the book, he does talk about like it was a liberating experience, uh, raping white women, and he said, he practiced first on black women. They were the practice trial, and then he went on and he went on to rape white women. But and my point is, people do not go unscathed, and he was actually embraced by many conservatives because he became a conservative after he fled the country. Uh, he went to Cuba first, and then he went to other communist countries, and he said, basically these communist countries, their police are far worse than the American police could ever be. The Constitution basically doesn't travel with you, and I actually gave you a video of Eldridge Cleaver. He actually became a Mormon, and he spoke at what the hell's the name of that SMU? I think like at one of the Mormon colleges, or maybe even the main Mormon temple.
Are you talking about BYU?
Did you watch that video by any chance?
No, no.
I found that video, by the way, to be very interesting, and interesting like how people like go from one extreme, and how they get out of that, and maybe even come to another form of extreme.
Wait, was this a Mormon story you're talking about? I'm not sure.
This was it was interesting for me because if you look at, like, because I saw the videos of him before his transformation,
Okay.
and I remember him primarily too because I am a political junkie,
Hmm.
and he actually ran as in the Republican primary for the California Senate. I believe it was maybe 94 or 96. I'm not sure when, but he did run, and he did become somewhat of a conservative uh, before he passed away. I mean, when he came back in 1980, he was more of a much more of a conservative. And there are a few Black Panthers that after they had fled the country, and some of them were really mistreated in the communist nations, and they became Republicans, and they became very communist. You're on mute. Do you have anything to add on to that, or I don't want to
Uh,
just.
no, no. I guess I need to watch the video.
It was,
Make a
like I
comment.
said, I personally found it interesting because I find that period of history rather interesting, and yeah, and like I said, I see the people of the past who were kind of militant, and they were far more even-handed than the people of today. They were far more diplomatic, and and at
Perhaps a
least
bit more violent.
I don't know. I don't know if they were more violent. I mean, I know that their behavior was different and that they engaged with people they disagree with. Today, that's not the case. And I find them to be, I find the generation of activists today to be far more sanctimonious and arrogant than the ones of the past. And these people, they do disgust me. And maybe I'm watching too much of them, but I find them to be like very vile, and I want to lash out at them in the worst possible way, because I find them to be so silly and so just. I get angry just thinking I want to be a raccoon on them. Like I want them to like touch me and then just I want to fucking just rip them to shreds because they disgust me that much. Their behavior disgusts me that much.
Like Scott.
Scott, Scott's more diplomatic. I mean, he did tell me to shut the fuck up, but I found him to be a little bit more diplomatic than say Rye Bread, who I think is,
Rye bread.
you know,
Yeah, more
is young.
emblematic. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I get that.
And I found her to be a kind of a flip sanctimonious asshole. Typical woke, cringe human being. Could be wrong, but she
To be
seemed.
fair, you did flip on Giggert for no reason, but
Yes, I did. You know what? I do have a. I have a chip on my shoulder, and you know, I'm just thinking that this cancel culture shit. I'm going to kick you out, and people using their authority
mm,
to do things and make fucking rules, and it's like you're a fucking scumbag, you're a fucking piece of shit, and I'd like to fucking just cuss you out. I'd like to, some of these people, I'd like to meet them in the morning, like live with them, and just meet them every day to just fucking call them every name in the book. You cunt face son of a bitch, you scumbag of hell. Maybe that's because of my old man. We used to go at it and fucking and there was a coworker. I used to cuss him out every day. I wanted him to take a swing at me so I could fucking beat him to death or something. And now, and maybe that's
no,
my.
you've mellowed in your old age.
Well, you know what? I used to think I could. I used to think that I could kick a lot of people's ass, and there are a few people that I met that changed on that situation. That they're better skilled and in better shape and are have better techniques than me. So there is always that part when I'm angry. I think I'm King fucking Kong.
Now, what does any of this, by the way, have to do with inflammation and the foods we eat?
You know what? I just thought I'd up there because I don't want my whole room to be fucking
I
because
was just curious.
some people like to when I just of me and you talking, there are people who like to make comments about like my room situation and so I just I Wait, why did I have that? I thought I don't know.
Pretty sure there's yeah,
Fo-
pretty sure there's a lot of microbes floating around in the room. What
yeah,
so you got some inflammation.
yeah, yeah. Well, I get inflamed. I get inflamed, and I remember we had a show called Inflammatory Talk, and I do
You
get
are
angry.
yeah, you're inflamed.
Oh, I get infuriated, and I know it to a degree. I know that it doesn't, it doesn't, it doesn't, it's not, it's not logical or reasonable, but it's still in me. I mean, it's like I know that sugar's not good for me either, but uh, for years, wait, that's not a gorilla. Here we go. Wait a minute.
What?
Jeez.
What happened?
Let me
What
see.
happened?
Nothing, nothing.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, I didn't know there's a gorilla. Jeez Louise. I shouldn't even listen here. But I know, like I said, I know that logically, um, my anger is oftentimes misdirected.
Can you post that, please? Can you bring that in? There you go.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. And my anger is misdirected. Sometimes I act like a fucking gorilla. Sometimes I act like a gorilla. Um,
Yeah.
like a raving half-cocked ape, you know. I would love, like I said, to just give these people my verbal napalm and just give them a dose of what I believe is harsh and vicious reality. They're living in a dream world, and I want to wake them up to the smell of horrible farts and stench and hunger, starvation. You're such a fake and a phony and backbreaking labor to get some reality into you. That's what I need to do
They
too. I need to
deserve
do
it.
more because I
It's a
think when you work,
it's a
yeah.
it's a fragile generation coming up.
Oh my God, yes.
There's
And you know what? And I know. Listen, I know that I'm a bitch, man. I was doing a little bit of manual labor, and I realized, my God, what a wimpy I am. And I
man,
realized that, yeah,
I mowed my lawn and I was pouring sweat. Pouring. It was
hose them down.
awful.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I want to kind of get back into that because that's where you find the real people is like the people that do the lawn work, the people that do construction, the people that pick the fucking fruit. I mean, those are the real people, and they don't have time for all this fucking this bullshit. Whether it's on the right or the left, the hard workers, the people who are just fucking working. I think it's a lot of the elites and the spoiled brats that are so fake, and I'm so sick. Like, I think people on the internet, a lot of them are fake
Yeah,
frauds.
a
A
lot
lot
of
of them,
fake. A lot of
big
them.
fakey McPhony,
Fakey
bullshit,
McFake.
fakey
Fakey
McFake.
McFakerson.
Give me a break. And yeah, so I want to do real things and be around real fucking people.
Freddie
That
Fakerson.
Freddie Schmuckstein, Freddie Faker McSchmuckstein.
Why did you
Fuck.
make him a Jew? I don't understand.
You know what? Chris Nelson was the one who, and he's not even Jewish, but he said, "Can you get the?" He said, "Debbie, can you get this Schmuckstein off the air?"
Get this Schmuckstein off the air.
Get out of here, Schmuckstein. A Schmuckelstein.
Now look at him. Now look at him.
Yeah, he's talking to Ron DeSantis, and yeah, you know what, man?
It's a
I guess
conversation with maybe our next president.
yeah, yeah, perhaps. Who knows?
Have you heard that? A lot of people are talking about.
A,
DeSantis.
a lot of people are talking about it, and you know what the truth is? Um, Whether I support him or not is not going to make a bit of difference. I have no power whatsoever. What is that goddamn thing?
A little instrument of mine.
Yes.
I I don't know what I don't. Have you had this sort of anger in
You know what? It's
in?
gotten worse.
Have you had this sort of anger out there though in the world? Have you been approached by? Have you had a conversation with someone and just like, motherfucker, I'm gonna fucking rip your head off?
I wanted to kick her. Well, Hurricane Dean. I wanted. You know what? That guy, his behavior. You know, and this was before 2020. I wanted to
Mhm.
hit that guy in the temple because I thought he was going to be vicious to me. I'll show you. Because that guy, well, I don't want to say I think I could kick his ass, but I think I could kick his ass. But he pissed me off.
Right? Yeah.
You
He
know,
was over the top, and he
yes,
was vicious, and he's very threatening for
yeah.
for
But you know what? I think if he made
for his political point of view, he had a very incredibly odd personal approach to politics. It was really
well,
bad.
here's the thing with a guy like Hurricane. I don't think that that guy, if he'd have been up in front of me, would have been as brave.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I know some things I don't know, but um, I don't think that guy's been in too many fights.
I don't either,
You know?
except with maybe his girlfriend.
Yeah, maybe. Is he a wife beater? And you know, like I said, I shouldn't look for that kind of shit. I know that that's wrong, and I should walk the other way. But you know, certain behaviors, and when I was doxxed about my work and shit, it really pissed me off. And it put a chip on. And then they tried to say where I live and shit, and it's like
Hmm.
it put a chip on my shoulder, and it made me think: Are you know like are other leftists trying to fuck with me? I want to give to them what they did to me and all the shit that they were saying. And if I said anything back, they would threaten me. Fuck you, man. I want to make you want to try to make me hungry. I want to make you hungry. You know, I think all the truckers and all the rest, people who threaten that shit, they should just band together and not service those motherfuckers. Hey, you're gonna make me hungry? We'll play the Hunger Games too. I mean, and like I said, if you're gonna go out and hurt people, well, you should be able to face the consequences.
Very true.
And I guess I don't know if like you have a different view of pacifism, and I want to live and I want to survive, you know, and again I want to live, an honest and decent and noble. I'm a pig
Yeah,
like
yeah.
everybody else, you know.
A
I
life of
have,
pacifism. A life of pacifism is very interesting. It's very. I think it's very uplifting because I, you know, there's no confusion as far as like, you know, violence as a last recourse, and but if you step foot on my property, you better you better be aware of the consequences. And I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting sort of philosophy, and it's I'm starting to apply it to a lot more aspects of my life, and it's really helping me. I think because I was an angry young guy. I was pretty angry.
you still are.
I might have a little bit of anger.
You know, and you know what? I've tried the stoic calm stuff, and maybe I'll go back to it. But at this moment, and I don't know what to do with it, deal with it, like, but I still have a lot of anger and kind of rage. I mean, we were locked down, and
Hmm.
all the things that I used to do, like the local movie theater that I used to go to, that was taken away. And the way in which they acted, the mainstream media that pushed this narrative, the way they acted is so like I'm so angry at them, and evidence keeps
It was
coming out.
almost an
You froze. You might need to reboot your computer, but you froze, and I don't want to freeze myself. So, if this video at any time starts going bad, I may have to end it. And Joe was about to say something, but these people controlled the narrative, and they acted in ways that were very, like I said, sanctimonious, very arrogant, and they affected a lot. A lot of people's lives were affected, and I, thought the legacy media would be a little bit more noble and a little bit more compassionate in uh, being able to present all facts, but they didn't do that. And now, like, I have a chip on my shoulder with them. I'm like, you guys are fucking scum, and I despise you. You are the most. You are worse to me. They are worse than any foreign enemy because the Chinese or the Russians didn't fucking lock me down, didn't riot in our streets and call these riots mostly peaceful protests. Fuck you. When it's a riot, it's a riot. It ain't nothing else. Tearing down statues and doing all this shit. And you can say whatever the fuck you want, white fragility, all this other bullshit that came out in 2020. And it's like, I'm pissed. I'm fucking pissed. And I feel like if you're going to do things to me, I want to do them back by nature. Joe, I'm going to give you some words on that as well. Go ahead.
I don't know if revenge is an aspect of nature.
Killing is an aspect of nature. When someone does wrong and does something that is jeopardizing your livelihood and they fuck up, killing them, it's, I think, like by nature, we have something in us when things go wrong. Because, I think back in the day, when we were just savages, you may have to kill 4 or 5 fucking people because they're taking your food and your livelihood. And when an egotist or an arrogant person just makes a decision for their ego and they're hurting you, they're killing your inner soul, your inner beast inside. And it's like, fuck you, you're being unfair. And I want to set things right. That's nature. To like, hey, you give, I give. We work together, it's cooperative. And when people don't do that and they try to weasel out of it and they get aggressive with it, I saw people reverting, trying to make people out to be, slaves. Like I'm nothing but human dung to you. And I respond to that in a vicious manner by nature. That's natural, in my opinion. When someone is unfair to you, it's natural to want to, to return the favor. I think that's, you're burning, to a degree, it's like you're burning my crops. Go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm listening. I hear that out. They've infringed on a lot of things. I hate to say rights, but they've infringed on a lot of rights.
I think that they've infringed on the psyche, and they've infringed on they've normalized obnoxious and arrogant behavior. I look at some of these clips at these college campus, and one of the things you'll see them do is they don't clap anymore, they all snap. And it disgusts me. And I'm like, I don't want to pay my tax dollars. I got a big tax bill this year. I don't want to pay my fucking tax dollars to see people do this. You know, all snapping like this. Fuck you. I don't want to spend any more of my money. And I think a lot of people don't want to spend any more of their money when people are doing this, snapping their fingers. Disgust me. Yeah, you disgust me. I should show you some of the videos of these people snapping their fingers and some of the behavior that they exhibit. It's like defund the college. They are propagandist mills. And these people are fake and they suck in many ways. And with that being said, Joe, do you have anything else to say before I call this boo-boo a day?
I hear your anger, man, and you know, I am. Oop! I just changed the page on accident. My bad.
I don't give a shit.
I hear your anger, and I raise you to angers. I mean, it's just like, you know, places that I would frequent, you know, to get food, to get stuff, you know, to live, were not letting me in their stores. You know, I had so much backlash and over my decision on how I want to. Don't get me started. It's been a rough couple years.
It's a private company, and like, yeah, they changed the rules, they changed the norms, and then they acted like any thought, and then social media censored, and then legacy media treated us like shit, like we were trash. And it's like, you said fuck you to me. Now I want to say fuck you to you. I want my cancel culture. Because you fucked me. You fucked me. Now it's my turn. Bend over. You did it to me, I do it to you. You know? That's just the way I feel. Like, hey, you want to be, you know, and you're pushing. Now I want to push back. Just a little bit. See what you like. You like it? You like how it feels? You know? You kick me in the nuts? Let me kick you in the nuts. You think because I have, you know, a little more padding between my ball sack that it doesn't hurt? It does. You know?
I'm
Anyway,
cracking up. All right, man. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to address this in a better way. I'm just. What do you do?
well,
What's
you
the
realize
most effective strategy, Brian? What are you gonna do?
the pen is, you
What do
know,
I?
like the pen is mightier than the sword, and asking questions and teaming up with people who are also disgusted. And it's an economic war and a pen war.
Oh, in a
You
big
know?
way.
Yeah, and you got to do it. You got to do it the legal and logical way. And you know, I have other, you know, suggestions and recommendations. But like I said, I'm seeing things that I've never seen before, and I
Brian,
think,
I think we're going to see a lot of people panic.
yeah,
I think the panic is going to start, and I think the main key is to not allow any of this shit to get you down, get you upset, get you angry. Overcoming that with grace, with strength, with you know, commitment to you. You need to make your commitment to yourself. You know, and that's what I've been doing. I'm trying to make the commitment to myself, do what's right for me, and it's, dude, that is an everyday challenge. That's a full-time job right there.
yeah, that is. And with that being said, I think it's time. Do, 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 do.
By the way, I found an amazing resource for peanuts, Brian. About
Really?
$3 a pound, and they are amazing. inquire for more details.
With that being said, hey, like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Come on, people, like my show. Boo! Look what she said. Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Thank you for listening.
How do we delete that? I can delete that.